I'm Rosie Hardy. This is Rosie Hardy Gardening. Today I'm going to be talking about 4 different blue daisies that all have a common name of Aster. Let's start off with this one, which has got the largest flower of all of these. This is the beautiful Stokesia laevis. This one is Klaus Jelitto, and this is known as the Stokes Aster. There are annual forms of this. These ones, the Stokesia, are perennial. The annual ones have exactly the same sort of flower formation, but only flower 1 year and then the plant dies. These ones are perennial, so they are going to make beautiful clumps. The leaves are long, like so, very, very narrow. They're also quite smooth, so there's no ciliate or hairs on these whatsoever. So quite a nice long smooth stem. Then they have lovely stems which come up. They are branched here, and as you can see, they're adored by bees. So they have beautiful, huge, big flowers, and these flowers have got very much an indentated, toothed petal to them, and then they've got all the inner bits of the composite flower there as well. They start off with very much a white center as they open, and then they open up to this beautiful, huge, big flower here to here. The actual flower buds are super, and when the flower finishes it looks like this, just a green bit there. So that is absolutely fine. You don't need to deadhead them, and they just make steady clumps, something to about a foot round at the base, and they'll be up to 18 inches high. So that is 30 centimeters by 45 centimeters. They love a sunny position in a relatively free draining soil, although with a little bit of food there, and they don't want to dry out completely. So these you can divide. We go from Stokes Aster to an Aster. This is Aster frikartii Monch. This is a well-known variety with beautiful big flowers like this, with a lovely yellow center, true daisy on this, and they are single petals, no indentations on them, and your yellow center at the bottom. Beautiful stems which hold themselves up. They flower in the middle of the summer. They're absolutely fine. These are a true Aster. Their foliage is slightly hairy, and it is more rounded in the shape of the foliage itself, with a little bit of an indentation around the edge, but very, very hairy. It's very smooth when you actually touch that. So these make tight clumps at the base. They do eventually make a bit bigger, but they're not going to run off and take over the world. Strong stems that hold themselves up, and up to 2 feet tall. So somewhere between a foot, 30 centimeters, and 2 foot 60 centimeters in height. Free flowering, lots and lots of flower. If you look at this stem here, for instance, it has got its main flowers there, more buds coming. Each of these stems here then have buds behind, more buds there. So it gets covered in these beautiful flowers, which are the landing places for lots of pollinators. So that is Aster frikartii Monch. It is divisible. It prefers a sunny site and any reasonable soil, as long as it is not too wet. Then we go on to this one, which is Eurybia cross herveyi, and this is something that spreads. Now this pot has cracked here, and the plant has decided, right, I'm going to escape and I'm going off. So this is what it will do in your garden. These little rootlets will go out and come up, and it will make a big clump. So don't think this is not going to spread. This is the bit that is coming from the central piece of the plant, and there are nice new shoots here, and the one that's escaped the crack in the pot, which is quite funny really. These have lovely dark purple red stems, and again they are a single daisy. This single daisy Here it's slightly smaller than Monch, and again it's branched with lots of buds to come here. Strong wiry stems, holds itself up really well. This again is flowering midsummer, so we're talking about just the beginning of August now. All of these are in flower, and they will flower on until probably middle of September, maybe a little bit long, but then the Michaelmas daisies take over. So this is another blue aster, really lovely, but it's going to spread. So this one will get somewhere between 18 inches and 2 feet, 45 to 60 centimeters in height, but spread wise it's going to be 45 to 60 over 2 to 3 years, and it's a divisible plant, really easy to divide up because obviously it's sending out all of these shoots. So its leaf is slightly different from the others in that it does have a long pedicel, a long stem, and then you get the ovate leaf at the top. It's also hairy, but it's a little bit more spiky hairs, so it's not as smooth as the leaf of the aster. So that is that one's leaf. Then the last of the blue daisies, which is also known as an aster, is this one here. And this one is Symphyotrichum cordifolium, and this has a lovely single flower, again slightly paler, more lilac-y blue on this particular variety. Lovely typical yellow centre in there, and more flowers to come. So its flowers are held in all of these spaces here. It is slightly later coming into flower. It's just starting, and it's going to carry on and look really good. It makes a cracking big plant. This is something that holds itself up really well, and again it has a completely different leaf from the others. You can see that it's ovate, but it is very much indented all the way around the edge there, and it is very hairy as well. So that one is a different leaf, different structure, but it's a good strong doer, makes a cracking plant, but as I say, just a slightly different color of flower. It is divisible. It is going to make pretty large clumps, so after 3 years you'd expect 45 across. You'd expect it to be about 45, 50 high. It's not one of the tallest ones. Good for the middle of the border. It will tolerate a bit of shade. That's the one thing I forgot to say about the Eurybia. The Eurybia will go in part shade, any soil. The Symphyotrichum cordifolium will go in most soil types. It will tolerate it a little bit drier, and it's a really good form. All of these are perennial. They all work really well. They are all blue asters. Thank you very much for watching, and please do subscribe to the channel.